Okay, so today we are learning about Pythagorean theorem. So the Pythagorean theorem was created by an ancient Greek philosopher named Pythagoras. His teachings influenced the philosophies of Plato, Aristotle, and plenty of other Western philosophers. Now, before we get into his theorem, I want to take a quick second to review a right triangle, just because that's going to be super important coming up in just a second. So a right triangle is a triangle that has one 90-degree angle. Okay, so back to our theorem. What is the Pythagorean theorem? The Pythagorean theorem is what we use when we are given a right triangle and we are given the length of two sides of that right triangle, and we will call those A and B. Pythagorean theorem helps us find the length of the third side, and we'll call that C. This side is also called the hypotenuse. Our Pythagorean theorem equation looks like this. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So we're going to take a look at an example. So let's look back at our triangle from before. We're going to plug in some numbers for A and B. So we'll say that the length of side A is 3, and we'll say the length of side B is 4. And these are just units. They can be inches, kilometers, centimeters, but right now we're just going to call them units. So our goal now is to find the length of side C, the hypotenuse. So we're going to go ahead and plug in those numbers. So we have A 3 and B is 4. And we are looking for our C. Okay, so let's see if we can solve it. 3 squared gives us 9. 4 squared gives us 16. When we add those together, we get 25. Now, to get the length of C, all we have to do is find the square root of both sides of the equation. The square root of 25 is 5, and the square root of C squared just gives us C. And now we know that C equals 5 units on our right triangle.